Okay, so finally the update operation, and this is if we want to update a current record. So I will double click the update button here, and really not a lot going on in the update itself. We have the save button, which is disabled by default, and we will set that to true and then enable the controls. I think, let me just run this real quickly, and I'll update a record, and then we can look at the database and make sure it worked. Okay, so let's say this book is going on sale for $9.95. I cannot type in there just yet. I'll need to update the, click the Update Current button. So now the text boxes, I probably set the read-only property to, for the text boxes to true, and then you can enable those. So let's see, I'm going to change this to $9.95 and then hit the Save button. Okay, so presumably that change took place in the database. And let's take a look at the code. So we are enabling the save button or enabling the save button and the controls. And so yeah, that was the read-only property. So I set that to false to make those text boxes editable by the user. So really, it all goes down in the save. The save button is where I'm committing those changes to the actual database. And you know, while we're thinking about it, let's look at the actual database and make sure that the price of that first book really is $9.95 at this point. Okay, so you can see the change was committed to the database. So let's take a look at the code. And it's very much like the delete code in the previous video, but there are just more parameters going on here in the SQL statement. So first, open the connection to the database. And then we're going to create a string variable to have our update statement. And notice that, so this is basic SQL, update the book table, set these values to whatever, where book ID equals whatever. So notice we have 4 parameters, 4 question marks. Again, the question mark is a placeholder for that actual parameter and the value that you're going to be provided for the new book info. Now in this case, I didn't change the title or the author. I did change the price. Okay, I was using the book ID to isolate the book I was interested in changing. But so it's fine. You code your update statement like this. Some parameters will be used, some won't, or maybe all of them will be used. But in any case, we've got all bases covered. Okay, so then finally package that up in a command object. All right. And now we have to add the parameters. Now in the delete operation, there was just 1 parameter, but here there are 4. So I'm creating 4 separate parameters using the values in the text boxes, whatever they may be, okay, and providing those to the parameters as the new values that we're committing to the database. And now this is important. Those parameters, each of the 4 parameters has to be added to the command object's parameters collection. Okay, the thing is, order matters. The order in which you add these to the parameters collection has got to match perfectly the order of question marks in the update statement. So the first question mark was for title, and look, I'm adding the title parameter first, and then author, price, book ID in that order, author, price, book ID. Absolutely necessary. Okay, so other than that, the rest of this is just like the delete operation. We're going to execute non-query that actually commits those changes to the database, and then we're just going to close the connection because we don't leave those hanging open. And then we want to refresh the inventory list so that the inventory that we're looking at in our list of objects, our list of books, matches the underlying data table. And that's it. And then we'll disable the controls, and we are done.